Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM22 One Club story from Hemel Hempstead Town with me, Daniel. It's part 47 today and we are back in mid-October with Hemel Hempstead Town. And today, it looks like we might have liftoff. We've got 2 games against sides in the playoff places currently. We are just above them in third. And if we pick up 4 points, maybe even 6, I'll start to believe we're promotion contenders. We have got a brilliant side. And it's just starting to gel. It's that October time again. Ricky Jade Jones is finally in the goals. Javan Malcolm is back in the goals. And the rest of the team is starting to perform. So if you're looking forward to seeing if we can finally make it happen after 2 disappointing years scrapping relegation, please do put a thumbs up on it. A few slight issues on the technical side. We've had 2 crashes in this game since the last episode. Albeit one of those was because I was trying to save a match for a Twitter clip, which ended up going wrong. It balanced out quite well in the end because the game that we won before the crash, we then lost. And the game that we lost before the crash, we then won. So it's all levelled out in terms of points. But today we play our games with international duty too, so it could get a little bit difficult. If you want to stay up to date and see how we get on this season, subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. We had a big one in the head coach yesterday, transfer special time over there. We'll be back tomorrow with deadline day at 3:30, so I hope you'll come and check it out. At that point, I'll hopefully be at Boreham Wood v AFC Wimbledon in the FA Cup, and there'll be some content from that here and over on the podcast channel too. But thank you as always for your incredible support. You can find most of the things you've missed up in the eye above. Now let's get cracking because this is a big one. It should be a very difficult match. But let's start by having a look at the schedule and what's been happening since you were last here. And the simple news is, 1 defeat in the league, 1 defeat in the cup. Aside from that, we've been brilliant. And I think the biggest thing you can tell from mid-September, when we had that couple of weeks to get training into the lads, once we got everyone match fit, the goals started flowing. And that's made a big difference to the last month or so of this year. So the first game we played off camera was the EFL Trophy tie against Walsall. The sub-strike partnership putting pressure on the first choice one. Parry got 2, Daly got 1, and a consolation wasn't enough for the visitors. We then lost 2-0 at Salford, which was actually a blessing in disguise, because we got to 5 games without Ricky Jade Jones scoring, and a game after we got to 5 without Javan Malcolm scoring. We gave them both the classic, I don't know how much longer we can wait, you need to score soon, and now they can't stop scoring. So we started with a 5-0 win against Port Vale, Ricky Jade Jones with a second half hat-trick, Macaulay Gillespie and Nathan McGinley, 2 of the summer signings in defence getting the other goals. A 3-0 win at home to Kidderminster, Ricky Jade Jones with a penalty, Parry and Swan got the others in that one. A 3-0 win at Doncaster, Javan Malcolm with 2 and Ricky Jade Jones with 1. And in a brilliant 3-2 win at Pompey, we were 3 up at the break, Javan Malcolm scored all of them. And in the second half, we clung on despite making changes a little too early. Then we got carried away with our form in that one. A defeat against Tottenham under-23s in midweek has harmed us slightly, but it was a backup side. Stuart Parry got the goal again. And looking ahead to the weekend, I'm hoping it won't affect us too much. 4 of our remaining 6 games this month are at home. These 2, of course, against big sides in the top 7 so far. And if we can start to win them and become formidable at home, I feel like we've got a really good chance this year. We are actually unbeaten at home in the league, despite losing 2 cup games there. And the only one we were held was Oldham right near the start of the season. So starting to look like a convincing team. Can we keep it up to date? That's the question. There was some talk of transfer news as well. It hasn't come to fruition as it happens. But we've got a player who's throwing the toys out the pram, which is Lewis Brunt. So my aim is that at the start of January, we'll hopefully be able to sell him. And then we'll have a second go at getting Brookwell in, who we just missed out on deadline day. And that should be job done at that point. But a really good side, we're progressing nicely. And some of the players are starting to improve too. But we've got big changes to make. That was our EFL Trophy side. Let's get our team picked for Colchester. So this is what we've gone for. It's a very defence-heavy bench. But that's because Nydam's just come back from an international game and isn't quite fit. Ryan Joseph's coming back from injury. He's not available. And we've got a couple of fullbacks out too. So we've done the classic move Brian Moore out to right back. Geacock is in goal behind him. McGinley left back. Gillespie had a few games out but back in alongside Farcarson now. Egan, Alidor Hamilton, Arthur Reed and Will Swan is the midfield diamond. With Ricky Jade Jones just dropping out of form again alongside Javan Malcolm up front. We have switched the roles permanently now. Ricky Jade Jones the advanced forward, Malcolm the poacher. And we seem to be finding form with it. So let's go and get into the game at home to Colchester. And cross our fingers, we can keep it up. Well, it's 10 changes from the cup tie for us, 9 changes for the same for Colchester. Seems both of us aren't prioritising the EFL trophy. They've got some good players at the back, the likes of Frankie Terry, real standout performer at this level. And they've got some good players going forward too, so it's going to be a good Colchester team we face. And that's why they've started well. We're going to say we want a better performance from the lads, even though 10 of these 11 didn't play. Now let's go and get into the first half. The front two are motivated. Let's hope it pays off. Well, lots of the ball in the first 20 minutes, but not too many great chances just yet. And it's actually Colchester on the front foot here. G-Cop punches instead of holding the ball. And he's nearly beaten by the rebound. An absolutely thunderous strike from 25 yards. Rattles the woodwork, hits him, but the defender's there to clear. We've had a lot more possession, but an even game. And with 25 gone, anyone could win it. We're playing out from the back again with G-Cock though, who finds Farcarson. Has been a pretty solid signing so far. Had to play in the holding role a couple of times, but normally been in that centre-half position as Brown gets it on the left. It's certainly not been vintage so far, but when we did look at those highlights, a lot of our goals were second half. When we had a look at those scores in the last month or two, we tire teams, and when they start to push for the game, we can get in behind with this front two, who are just rapid, and as are the subs behind them. As Terry plays from the back again to Smith. Colchester looking good in possession. They're a decent side, they're going to be up there this year. And we're going to do well to beat them as Bradbury gets it on the right. Back to Smith. Good football again, but not really got that cutting edge yet. Instead, they go for the big ball over the top, and it's given away on the edge of the box by the Hemel defence. McGlinchey can't get there. He's into Aggie, and he's headed away by McGinley on the rebound. Brilliant work from Colchester. They arguably look the more threatening as Bradbury goes from distance. It's over the bar. I think we've got to demand more because the lads are all unhappy at something. I'm not quite sure why. We don't seem to have had an effect with the team talk either. As McGinley picks the ball up at left back. He's got time on it, can bring it forwards. Two in midfield if he can find them. Egan is one of them. On a yellow card, we've got to watch out for him. And Gillespie wide to McGinley, to Reed. Unlocked the defence multiple times this year. Finds Swan. He's maybe not been in such good form. We have adapted him to that shadow striker position. The duty his parent club want him to have. And he's not quite finding the goals just yet as Reed picks it up again. Through ball to Ricky Jade Jones on the volley first time. Oh, I love this kid. What a footballer. What a man. Ricky Jade Jones is taking us to the top. Whatever problems you've got in your save, just sign him. They'll all be solved. Well, there is the half-time whistle. It's probably been one of our poorest performances of the season. I've got to be honest with you. We've not been behind any expected goals too often. We've not been behind on the shots on target too often. But we've got Ricky and Arthur Reed laying him in. It's the duo that we'd brought in to get us promotion, to get us up the league. And our two highest paid players are delivering this year. And Smith puts a corner in, headed away by Hamilton. Really good work defensively. Falls for Chivers on the right hand side, the skipper. Gets to the byline. There's players in the box here. Aggie with a shot. He's done brilliantly to get one in there. And I don't know if that was post or keeper that prevented the goal. As Swan comes across halfway. He's got support from Ricky Jade Jones if he can release him. He does. He puts in Malcolm. It's just overcooked. The pass was brilliant. It was a lovely idea. Didn't quite come off though. It stays 1-0 Hemel. As with an hour on the clock, we're still looking pretty perilous here. We've not been the better side by any means. We could do with a second goal to calm it down. Farcarson to Egan in the middle. Reed in the centre circle to Malcolm. To Swan. To Ricky Jade Jones. It's a brilliant reverse ball. And it's a pretty good save by the keeper to be fair to him. Another chance from a corner. You've seen the defenders that have scored in the games off camera. We're getting a few from set pieces. Reed's delivery's good. It's to the back post. Egan's up. Nods it down. Off the line by the keeper. And Gillespie puts it in on a rebound. 3 for him already this season. And set pieces becoming a big part of the game plan. Runs in behind, set pieces, and the odd bit of delivery from Arthur Reed. We're in a good position. 25 minutes to go. We're 2-0 up. But Colchester have had a threat in this game. And here's the skipper, Chivers. Back to Clampin, the left back. He gets down the line, beats his man. It's a wonderful delivery. Bradbury in at the back post to head in. Keeper caught in no man's land. That's stunning work. You can't argue with the quality on that cross. Well, 15 minutes to go. We're going to look at subs because Egan's struggling physically and he's on that yellow card. So do we want to bring on Ross Marshall or Owen Lloyd? Marshall is a more defensive player. He's a centre-half by trade. Owen Lloyd is a left-back by trade, but is also natural in the holding role. So he's going to come on there. Javan Malcolm's actually had a really poor game after I've talked him up. So we'll bring on Stuart Parry as the poacher. And then the third sub, I don't know what to do with it. McGinley struggling at left back for fitness, but we've just brought the other one on as a midfielder. So let's change that. McGinley off, Lloyd to left back. Marshall will be our new holding role player. 15 minutes plus stoppage time to go. And we're still vulnerable here. Don't get us counted just yet as Farcarson plays out to Brian Waugh. Not having as good a game at right back, but still doing alright. Plays down the line to Pye, who intercepts from Ricky Jade Jones. And Hall can bring the ball away downfield. Big kick over the top. Lloyd brings it down at left back. Got time. Got acres of space to run into. And he's doing just that. No pressure on him at all. He's got all the way to the edge of the box. Plays a 1-2 with Reed. Beats his man. Can he get the cross in? He can't. He goes back to Arthur Reed again. To Lloyd. Delivers to the back post. Hamilton up. Can't quite get there. Headed as far as Brian Waugh. He finds Marshall in the holding role. To Reed. Good quality in possession. Is the shot there? Swan gets in. Oh, we said he hasn't been brilliant this year. What a strike that is from the edge of the box. On his weaker foot too. Arthur Reed gets another assist, but he can't take much credit for that. And that should wrap up the 3 points. 3-1 with 9 to go. And Farcarson's got a free kick deep in his own half. Pye intercepts it. Symes to Chivers. Clamping down the left again. He's been brilliant all game. Chance to deliver into the front post. Marshall anchoring well. Pye heads down for Symes again though. Colchester really going for it here. Get down the left hand side. There's no defence there. What is Brian Waugh doing? Aggie scored straight away. And we're completely disintegrating at the back. I'm going to change him to a defensive duty. And I'll do the same at left back as well. Because I'm not quite sure where the efforts are back there. There's certainly not much support anyway. Jones takes the centre kick and we're back under pressure again. As Swan plays Lloyd to Reed to Parry. We could do with nicking one up front here. Can Ricky come to the rescue again? We shouldn't need to score more than 3 to win a game. But it's starting to look that way because we're giving away possession. We've got absolutely no way of competing. It's out to Clamping again on the left, to Riley. Clamping's run off him. Brian Waugh looks absolutely shattered. He's had rings run round him. And he's not a natural right back. It's a great delivery. Lloyd heads up more than away. And it's still Colchester going forward. What on earth can we do tactically here? I feel we need to protect, lads. As Brian Waugh hoofs downfield. It's coming straight back. It's coming straight back to us. Bradbury into Aggie. Great save, G-Cock. And a free kick for offside, but he wasn't to know. We've got to do something here because they've had 18 shots, 11 on target, and they're flying down the wings at speed. So I tell you what, I know it's pretty unconventional here. I'm going to bring Ricky Jade Jones out to the right. I'm going to bring Parry out to the left. Let's just protect the lads. I know they're not naturals. They're not really the type of wingers you'd want to rely on. But we've just got to have some support out there. I'm going to drop Hamilton to a deep line playmaker on defend, just so we've got protection on the right. And I'll drop the same with Reed to a defensive duty too. Can we still go on the counter? Do we want a time waste yet? I think we do. Our best chance is slowing this game down. We've still got a counter. We've got 3 attacking midfielders now. But we're going with no one up front. We're just going to try and see things out here. Colchester all over us. They could equalise any minute. Well, touch wood. It seems to be working. We've had no highlights since we made those changes. And tactically, we seem to have called it right. It finishes Hemel Hempstead Town 3, Colchester United 2. We're perhaps a little fortunate given the onslaught at the end. But goals from Ricky Jade Jones, Gillespie and from Will Swan have ultimately given us 3 crucial points. With players out on international duty, particularly the right back where you saw our frailty there. We've managed to get the result and stay in the top 3. Now back in a moment to face playoff contenders Cambridge. We're back for Cambridge, and this for me is where we can be marked as genuine promotion contenders. There's 4 teams just starting to pull away, and if we can beat Cambridge and if we can keep that gap up, I believe we've got a chance at the top 3. Regardless though, we're going to be a top 7 side this year. I can feel that already. Having said that, we're only 5 points ahead if Cambridge win this. But let's go and crack on with it. We're going to make a couple of changes. McDonough will definitely be back because we really missed him at right back. You can tell that for sure. He is going to come back in for Brian Waugh, who I think after the last game will probably just give a rest. He did have a decent match rating and the centre-half's not so much. I mean, Gillespie scored and his rating was only 6.6, so he must have made a pretty bad error. Whereas looking at Brian Waugh, he's still got a 6.9. So maybe I'm going the wrong way about this. I'll bring Brian Waugh back in and we'll take Gillespie out. He'll be on the bench. He will replace Shenton back there. We've also got a return for Tristan Nydam on the bench. He'll come in for, I think, Josh Berry. In fact, with Gillespie on the bench, we can replace Lloyd with Heath and he can miss out this time. The starting 11, I don't think we need to make changes, do we? That's the only one. McDonough coming back in to strengthen us. The rest of the team is doing really well, so why on earth would we change it? Let's go and face Cambridge at home, a fairly local game for us by this league standards, and just the one change to improve us, some good players in the opposition side, but a real chance to be proper promotion contenders. And it's 5 changes for our visitors today. They have got good players all over the place. The centre half, Constantine Ellis, is a player that lots of EFL clubs and a couple of Premier League ones are trying to sign. It's virtually Wonder Kid standard, but wanted too much money for us. Miles Kenlock is a good left back. George Williams, the skipper, a good right back. Virtue's a good player in the middle. Devante Rodney's got quality going forward. It's a very good side. We're going to ask the lads to keep going, keep doing well. Scott Egan's the only one I'm a little worried about. Now he's not registered here. On loan, doesn't seem to be quite as impassioned in his fight to help Hemel Hempstead. But here he is on the ball. Finds McGinley at left back. Plays a 1-2 with him. Back to Brian Moore. He's into Reed. Oh, that's a poor ball. Gives it away with a square pass and it's put them in down the right. Beckham gets towards the byline. Chance to cross here. There's 3 or 4 in the middle. Swan does well to head down to Arthur Reed. Keeps the ball this time for McGinley. Can he play that ball over the top? Find Javan Malcolm. That's what's not happening. It's a little bit odd. Here is Malcolm though. Up towards Ricky Jade Jones. Oh, brilliant defending, but it's 1-2. It's off to Alidor Hamilton, and that is a lovely finish. Jones plays the 1-2 off the defender. Alidor Hamilton runs off him, and that's a box-to-box midfielder at their very best. A brilliant break. Both strikers a key part of it. Hemel Hempstead 1 up again. First shot of the game. As it's a free kick for Cambridge, halfway inside their own half. Keeper takes it out to Williams, the skipper at right back. And he goes back into his central defender. Maguire tries the through ball, but it's intercepted by Farquharson. Jones releases Javan Malcolm. He's 1-on-1. It's a great tackle by Joby, to be fair to him. And Kenlock can mop up. Constantine Ellis plays out to Maguire. And Guy goes wide to Kenlock again. The fullback's looking to overlap here. Maybe saw the frailties in the last game. It's a great through ball to Beckham. And it's just over the crossbar. It's been a blistering 8 minutes in this game. Fabulous tempo. But we have scored the only goal as McGinley throws into Malcolm. Reed crosses from the left. Munro's up. That's pretty comfortable for the keeper. Only really Ricky Jade Jones in there. As it's a long kick forward. Farquharson deals with it to Hamilton, the goal scorer. And McDonough back in after international honours to Jones. McDonough again. Got 3 or 4 running off him. Goes inside to Hamilton to Swan. Jones running off him. He releases him there. I was checking to see if he was onside. It didn't matter, because Munro made an absolutely excellent save. Reed will take the corner though. We know we're a threat from these. It'd be a great time to get an early second as it's up to the back post. Rodney heads away. Swan should be able to mop up. 15 minutes gone though. Really good performance. And so far we look the better side. It's a throw-in on the left for Cambridge though. They've got a long throw too, which Egan heads away. Nearly half an hour on the clock, and that's a new threat we didn't have before. Williams gets it to Maguire. Edge of the box. What an effort that is. Brilliant save by Zach Geacock as well. Tip behind for a corner kick right up in the top corner. Now can we defend them? Because Duncan's putting it in. You'd imagine they're a big side to use the long throw. Malcolm will try and get on the end of the headed clearance. Holds it up really well. Peter's out the highlight. And we've done enough. But it's another corner. Cambridge piling on the pressure. Great save Geacock again. That one was unmarked though. Not good enough. There are a few warning signs at the minute. And we're just not quite consistent for 90 yet. But Farquharson heads that one clear as far as Beckham. And Guy's got it on the edge of the box. Chips to the back post. Maguire up on the volley. Geacock saves again. Becoming a superstar for us. Been a bad 5 minutes that. We're playing out from the back almost immediately though. Farquharson gives it short from the goalkeeper. Brian Waugh, feel like we were getting ourselves in trouble there. Long clearance finds Malcolm though, who flies down the left. Into the box towards Jones, is headed away. I'd argue Cambridge are the better team here. We're just playing good counter-attacking stuff. In open play, they're comfortable on the ball. And we're struggling to match them. Though Jones gets it from McDonough to Swan. Through ball to Malcolm, it's brilliant. Oh, he's put it wide. Had to score that one surely. It remains 1-0, 10 to the break. But on the counter, we've got to take these chances. Well, there is the half-time whistle. And for the second game in a row, we're not really playing that well. They've had twice the amount of shots of us, more on target, more set pieces. But at the moment, we're surviving. It's 1-0. And if we can keep scoring goals on the counter, we'll be happy. But we're defending the long throw again, which McGinley intercepts. Finds Javan, Malcolm and Reed. Now counter. Now go at speed. Releases Hamilton. Ricky Jade Jones can't get there. Gotta say that centre-half, bar the mistake for the goal, has been absolutely sensational. But it doesn't matter. At the moment, he's cost them the game. As Farcarson, he might have done the same. That's awful. Gives it away on the edge of the box. Beckham's a virtue. Into Beckham again. The offside flag stays down. And it's one mistake apiece from the right centre-halves. Cheacock beaten at his near post. I don't blame him. Farcarson gives it away in possession. Poor timing. It's 1-1. And Cambridge, with the momentum, already look the better side. Now they've got the goal as well. This could be a very difficult 40 minutes. As we go back to the keeper with Cambridge, Munro picks it up on the edge of his box. It's been a really good game. We've seen plenty of it in terms of key highlights. He's out to Kenlock again at left back. Chips down the line towards Rodney. Farcarson wins it this time. Hamilton up to Malcolm. Had Jones running off him. Reed releases Swan. Jones is in support. Goes for the shot. Just wide of the post. Why didn't he take him on with the extra pace? We'll never know, but it's still level. This game could go either way. We've got the ball at right back with McDonough, who just plays in the keeper. Taking a safe option at the minute. Out to McGinley on the left. Back to Brian Moore. He comes over halfway. He's got support, but defending really well here, Cambridge. McGinley to Reed. Need that moment of magic. It's not coming. We're forced backwards again. Brian Moore to Reed. To McGinley. No support. We're being forced sideways every single time. It's a very long highlight again here. McGinley's forced backwards again. Why on earth are we seeing all of this as a key highlight? Egan picks it up in the middle this time. Goes all the way back to the keeper. And he plays out to Farcarson. McDonough on the right-hand side. Plays down the line to Ricky Jade Jones. Up to Swan. This could be one of the goals of the season. Malcolm dinks the keeper. Just over the bar. That would have been incredible. Wasn't to be though. Remains 1-1. Well, 15 minutes to go, and there's no sign that the door's going to be unlocked here. So we're going to bring on Tristan Nydam for Reed, who's had a poor game and looks nervy. Javan Malcolm struggled again, so on comes Stuart Parry. And I'm tempted to do Scott Egan again, because I tell you what, every time he's played this season, he's looked apprehensive, he's looked aggressive, he's not quite looked right. DJ Heath will come on in a holding role, and we've got 15 minutes plus stoppage time to try and nick a winner. As it stands though, we've got a highlight before the subs. And we know that normally means one thing. You know my superstition. Munro over the top. Duncan down. Watch it happen. Brian Moore intercepts. Malcolm releases Swan. Ricky Jade Jones, he's onside. The left back played him on. Oh, it's blocked. He took too long on the finish. So unlike him in recent weeks. And it's a last-ditch challenge by the defender. Cleared long downfield by Cambridge. It's headed away. When are we going to get the subs? We're going again. Jones plays a 1-2 with Malcolm. Releases Will Swan. He's in as well. Oh, it's hit both posts. The net sort of rippled a bit. I thought it was going in. But it stays out somehow. 10 to go. Still all square. 3 minutes of stoppage time added on. There isn't to be a winner. A wonderful game between two top sides with a number of great players. We've just got a couple of people out of form though. And at the wrong time, that's cost us a point. But it's still 4 out of 6. We're still in the top 3. I feel like the top 7 is a very realistic goal now. Probably the top 3's beyond us, but we're not going to worry about that. This is massive, massive progress from where we were last season. So we're going to try and leave it a little while now before we come back. Unless, of course, we get a massive FA Cup tie in the first or second round. So I think it will be Wigan and one other we come back for, depending on the FA Cup draw, of course. If you did enjoy this episode, a brilliant performance against Colchester. And to be fair, we look like a goal-scoring threat now. That is the biggest difference at the moment. Please do put a thumbs up on the video if you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what you think of the front two. Ricky is finding his form at a crucial time. And subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on if you want to stay up to date with all the antics this season as we try and push for a top 7 place and a first chance at getting into League One. In the meantime, of course, we had our head coach transfer special yesterday under Director of Football Guidance. That will continue tomorrow with transfer deadline day. But a massive thank you for watching, your continued support as always. Keep your eyes peeled for FA Cup content from the podcast channel tomorrow. And you can click up in the eye above to find anything you might have missed. I'll see you here in a couple of days' time though, as we hope the promotion push is still alive. And at the very least, we're a top 7 contender.